You know, 1v1s are still like the most pure form of perfection in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of people don't want to pay attention to that perfection. And also, when you're looking to be perfect, maps like this are cursed, as Sassy has just highlighted. Dude, did they queue up Lipany or did they queue up Mountain Pass? Like, I just don't know what to make of this. One and all, welcome back to AU4 Action. We have got Louis MT on the Mongols on the north side, going up against Jeanne D'Arc, who I think only plays Jeanne. Like this, yeah, they really do actually only play Jeanne. They are, funnily enough, from France as well, so it's fitting. And they're pretty decent in the game. Ranked 123rd on the ladder right now, consistently ranking between around 350 to 100 on the leaderboard season after season. So, pretty competent player with a very interesting opening build, actually. Wait. Why, though? They really think they're going to get rushed by Spearman. Oh, guys, no. This is not the way. I'm a bit worried that Purple let the Mongol fort get in his head a bit too hard. Louis has made the perfect reaction to this. He's just gone for a pasture. Which is really cool, actually, because you can stay out longer. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't, though. Notice that Louis came back quite quickly here. Sheep haul isn't too bad, but I think there was a missed opportunity to get a lot more sheep off the map. And now you see why. Yeah, so I think they ran into each other here, roughly. Up here. So what must have happened is Louis saw him and then darted to the left side of the map. And the cool thing is actually, because you're the Mongols and you have that movement speed arrow, you can beat him to it. The not so cool part is, screw this spawn. What is this? French bias is all I can say. I can't believe that. So it looks like a decent sheep haul still with Purple getting there late on the left side. Louis should be able to make the return and get the ones in the center though, so not too bad for him. So Adata is just like, yeah, Marine Law calls me a baboon all the time. I'm pretty sure that's how French people say they like you. Well, I don't know how much feces throwing is going to happen in this, but there's going to be an attempt at it. Purple already moving forward with the baboon play. We have got some Dark Age Spearmen coming out. Just stonewall as you hit Feudal and play enough AW4 for a week on this map. Sassy, what's your average game length? Because, like, whatever it was in my head, it just went up by an extra 10 minutes. Don't be that guy. Just end the game. Now, the good news, actually, for Purple here is with it being a Deerstone, it is more of a kind of a survival game than an attack game. And what I mean by that is, like, Louis doesn't have an eco-inflator. I'm wondering if Louis MT's goal is still to go 2TC. It's kind of weird to me, like, to see Deerstone, but it makes sense in the matchup. Right, like on this map, typically you want to be going for Silver Tree. 1, the trade post is terrible. 2, you're up against Jeanne D'Arc. It's similar to French and Roos in that if you go trade, it gets sniped, but it's actually worse against Jeanne because if you go trade, she gets fed XP every time she intercepts. So, really smart choice. I imagine we are going to be looking at 2TC here. Maybe a little bit of Archer play just to defend, or Spearman rather, but this does feel like a pretty good kind of spawn to actually just go for greed. The interesting part, though, is that if Louis was going for greed, he would have been spending the extra stone, right, on villager production. He hasn't spent a slab of it. So we might actually be seeing a Keshik opening, which means he's looking to target out Jeanne. Mongols are kind of an interesting one because Silver Tree feels like a no-no, but actually fighting Jeanne feels like a yeah-yeah. The reason is that you have a unit that can heal in feudal age, but also because it's a heavy cav unit, it can kill either form of Jeanne really easily. Purple. Diving in very ambitiously. He's going to lose the scout for that. That's not even worth it. What? Oh, guys, that is actually really bad. So all the spearmen are going to die. You're going to lose your scout. You have no vision on the map. Louis is being a bit weird. But funnily enough now, the Yam came in and saves him from any sort of harassment there. The timing of that was actually perfect. Dude, Louis is so disgusting. It's vulgar just how good at AoE4 he is. He done that intentionally to keep the spearmen around longer, right? And now I'm wondering, are we looking at a fast castle build? I mean, you could fast castle and still spend the Keshiks. The interesting thing about what he done there, right, is like if he didn't walk the villagers out, Purple would have walked away. Instead, by walking the villagers in, he forced Purple to dive deeper, closer to the tree line, which means he's further from getting out of range. Just small details like that, right? It gets you an extra spearman kill. His his villager micro is so good to watch. Now calm down, okay? He did have Yatnak. No, he is impressive. We just watched in a previous game how damn good he is at using villagers for defense play. Like earlier on, it was the idea of ungarrisoning and really losing minimum eco time there as he does it in between compared to other players. And now, talk about being eco-focused. Guys, we have got a fast castle build, 100% here. I mean, it's smart, because what does purple do? Purple needs to gather stone. They need to go for a quick TC. Is it going to feel that quick, though? Like, considering the time on the other side of this from Louis, I'm a bit worried that purple is just actually going to get clapped by a fast castle Mongol build. And you don't say that often. In fact, I'm curious, is this going to be a step readout build? I'm usually not a big fan, but this is the type of game where it makes abundance of sense, right? Like, think about the state of the map. Think about how easily defendable it is with just a few Keshiks. You know your opponent's going 2TC, and if you go for fast castle step readout, you can drop a prayer 10 and rush the relics as well. Dive coming in from Jeanne. A little bit of out of time forced here. I don't think it screws with Louis' timings too much, though, right? Like, he might have a little bit too much food for the tech up. But overall, Jeanne now has to wait a hell of a long time before diving again. Has to be 2x MAA? Yep, makes a lot of sense. I think like Keshiks could potentially work, just so you have raid potential. But the thing that might keep him away from Keshiks is the map spawn, right? Like there's a lot of tiny choke points, so if you go Keshiks and there's spears or walls, you're screwed. But he has scouted out, he knows about the second TC now on the deer. And men-at-arms, if you get up to like 10 of them, they could easily take down the TC, right? Your opponent already got racks? Agreed, but like at this early surge point, a few Keshiks opening up when your opponent's going 2TC is good on a more open map is what I'm saying. You just can't do it on this map at all. Like any defensively oriented map, the idea of Cav on a castle rush build is kind of less impactful. The reason why they would have possibly been nice here is kind of the idea of just guarding all relics as well. But I'm expecting... Oh, baby. What? Sassy, get your ass out of here. I'm sorry. This is rank number 6 on the leaderboard speaking to you right now. I'm kidding, buddy. It's very interesting. Like I said, I like this idea on maps like Prairie, Dry Arabia, EGC's Lipany. It feels really weird to do on this map. But we did say it was going to be step readout. So the thought process for Louis is like, if I go men-at-arms, I don't have as much value out of step readout. Whereas if I go Keshiks, that's a lot more gold per unit, right? So it feels like when you think about it from a percentile balancing point, when you're doing men-at-arms, a sixth of your cost is in gold. When you're doing Keshiks, a third of your cost is in gold, right? So you get this justification for putting more people on gold with step readout, ergo you get more eco value. So it kind of makes sense where he's coming from. I just think it's a really weird map to do it on, knowing that you've seen the entire spawn on the map, right? You've scouted the entire thing. You know how wallable it is. Now he's just playing this kind of gusto game of I can get enough together that I don't care. What I think justifies this play is if he's now going for relics. Like if he double spams Keshiks but then also double spams Prayer Tent, then this build makes a lot of sense. It's just the Smeagol build, right? All the gold in the world. What is the reaction for purple here? You have to go fast castle, right? You can't play French Knights into Castle Keshiks with step. They'll kill you. So you have to catch up. If I was purple, I'd finish the walling and just go. And it looks like he has started the walls. Good timing as well, right? Against in a single Keshik. If there's one kind of weird element, it's the fact that I think Louis could have had some Keshiks coming out sooner while he was teching up. And he did do that once, but I feel like maybe there was a bit of calibration there for extra. But I think he was trying to hold some gold over, as it is indeed going to be the Prayer Tent. Guys, this actually might be double Prayer Tent. He's got 5 villagers on wood right now. He doesn't need it for housing. I've seen this build a lot out of Louis. He's actually the player who most consistently goes to the double Prayer Tent drop. And it makes a lot of sense when you've got step readout. Aren't Feudal Knights better than Castle Keshiks anyway? Sure, if you have enough. Like, how are you ever going to have more than the Keshiks, though? Like, it mathematically doesn't make sense when you go 2TC. You won't have more, right? Even if you got Consecration buff, like, it's hard to contest. Especially considering it's double stables, no stone spent at the beginning. Like, you're always going to get outmassed. And remember, if you're ever outmassed against Keshiks, you're losing. Because it doesn't matter you do more damage than Knights. The Keshiks will heal, the injured will peel, and then it's a complete no deal for sure. Dive coming in. Nice little bit of idle time here. It's actually quite comical how you end up doing kind of the same damage, right? And remember, it's not going to be the same damage if you charge, because if you charge with Jeanne's Knights, they'll get the damage buff for 5 seconds, which is an extra 3.5 attacks being buffed up by about 4 damage. But the reality is, like, in those situations, you also have to consider not only A, going to be outnumbered, but B, you now have the defense arrow. The defense arrow makes it quite easy for the Keshiks to just win those fights now. Now, the tough part is because Purple didn't get his walls up, as he should have here, he now has to keep adding knights. And I think, actually, you just can't stop adding knights now. You have to get Jeanne level 3, because you missed your timing, right? Meanwhile, behind this, the problem is Louis getting eco. He's got 1 relic on the way home. He could easily make it a 5 relic game. I mean, this one's risky, but, like, honestly, it's Louis. I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow gets here. Watch him. He'll literally just sneak a villager all the way around here, right against the edge of the map. Oh, sorry, a monk all the way around against the edge of the map and pick up the relic. Mesh coming in now as well. It looks like Purple has decided to start stockpiling resources. It's just so difficult, right? Every time you want to go for a tech up, Louis is intentionally showing more Keshiks. This is really cool by design. What Louis is doing right now, it looks like he's just idling a bit, but he's intentionally showing his Keshik mount is bigger, because every time he shows more, you're noticing that Purple has to queue up more. This is so tilted. Like, you want to get castle, you need to get castle, but because of what Louis is doing, you can't risk him outnumbering you. Louis like, I'm putting the gun down. Do not attack me. Well played, actually. The fact he was able to peel off knights like that, I wasn't expecting. Louis is now reacting, though. And Jeanne, in the meantime, goes down. Wow. There was an actual dive and a commitment to a fight here. But Jeanne being removed is a big deal here, right? So, like, Louis now can feel very comfortable about the idea of taking the fights. Should have sniped monks with knights and defended with spears, would already be castle. Yeah, I think he had this idea that he would be able to win the main fight by staying feudal. And he already had the racks. Like, you're not wrong that Spearman could have worked quite well here. But I guess the logic for Purple was that he wanted to potentially raid after a fight, whereas Spearman's just turtling, right? I actually think he doesn't even need the spears. You just, like, just wall yourself in and tech up fast. Flash coming in, though. And there's the defense arrow. And notice there's no attack speed buff coming in now. This is just a loss of a fight for Jeanne. Number-wise, outnumbered 10 versus 7 and just outclassed here. This game could just be over, guys. Oh my god. Purple, that's a fully garrisoned TC and a bunch of exposed villages. Dive comes in towards them now. A Spearman has come out to defend, but he's a bit outnumbered here. And all of a sudden, you're going to be in a game where, sure, you're going to be teching up, but the eco lead you built is just going to completely disappear. Love that as well. Notice what Louis done there. Don't make that mistake. If he chased the villagers, Purple would have got the charge in. And then the damage on these knights would have compared. He stayed away from it intentionally there. Tech up has come through, but Louis now has to have a smile on his face. He's about to be 4 relics versus potentially 1 in a game where the world's his oyster. And we're probably looking at 2 TC here, right? He's already got 18 people in the wood line. He's completely negated the value the second TC really gave, especially when you consider the relics and the sacred sites. And now he can play for a later phase in the game than he otherwise would. In fact, that TC's going down. Only level 1 undermesh. No +2 armor, but it's pretty smart because remember, Purple hasn't built a blacksmiths. And why would he, right? Like, Purple doesn't get as much value out of blacksmith blade drops anymore because you don't get your melee techs for free. Nice. Into the clash. Premature fight out of Purple, actually. Big mistake made there. And Jeanne needs to be bloody careful. Like, she could actually just get sniped right now. Instead, it's going to be committing on the TC. Nice torch down. So, eco inflation removed from Jeanne. Only 6 villages ahead. Now, you're about to be up against 2 TC Mongols. Ooh, all 3 sacred sites as well. This is kind of painful, right? Like, you're against the Mongols. Usually you'd be like, oh no, the Mongol horde. Well, I'm going to do the historical thing and just wall myself in. But the way you've walled yourself in, you're quite resource limited, and also you've given way too much of the map over, right? 3 sacred sites, 4 relics, and now with that 2 TC, this is a game where Purple can't just camp and wait for the late game, right? Like, typically at this point, as your own player, be like, okay, I've got Guildhall. I can just wait 8, 10 minutes, and I'll be good to go. You're instead going to have to split your army and try to catch the sacred sites, but doing that means you're going to lose some somewhere, right? And that's what Purple's now scared of. Because with this lead already being built like it has, if Purple loses 3 or 4 knights, they're not going to win the main fight. In fact, this is a stage now where Purple seriously needs to consider going spears. Jeanne, I imagine Jeanne is probably about 3 minutes away from level 3 still. She didn't kill any boars, right? She didn't survive long enough in those fights to see more than maybe like 50 to 60 XP. I feel like at this rate, Jeanne D'Arc is going to be lucky to be level 3 by 20 minutes. That is brutal to hear out loud. Especially in a game where Louis is already this far ahead. Why is he gathering gold there? I think he was looking to just take the risky resource first, maybe? Felt that this game was going to go too late. It is weird. I agree on that. And he had scouted the backside of his base, right? Like, I'm assuming so. I'm now starting to wonder. It made sense because the TC dropped, right? Like, deer and then transition gold. But yeah, it was weird he was hanging around there still. It's even weirder that he's not building spears. I think it's been way too one-dimensional too long. We're finally seeing him actually prep for veterancy on spears. But I'm starting to wonder if it's a bit late. So, where is the win condition now for Purple? Their mindset is like late game focus now. It's not a Silver Tree build. Your opponent is going to boom into Imperial as quickly as they would otherwise. And you have got Guildhall ticking, right? So like 10 minutes from now, Imperial is quite a natural play. The problem is Louis is such a freaking genius kid at this. He understands these timings so well. Like, you've got to keep in mind that you've picked Jeanne D'Arc against the Jeanne King. Louis is going to look to harass, but he's not going to look to hang around. Food and gold is being stockpiled. Oh boy, big mistakes made. Purple, with only 4 spearmen, now has to wall himself out from the second deer pocket. He's going to run out of food. He's got, what, berries on the backside, but they're being exhausted quickly. And your opponent has perma food, right, with the sheep. And Jeanne does not get the melee text for free anymore. That was a change made in the most recent patch, so you have to get Bloomery. This, in particular, was a very big nerf towards spearman-based Jeanne builds, because they used to be very powerful. French kind of now feels better for going into spearman than Jeanne. Jeanne does at least still have the upside if that's the building that gets her the biggest like discount across a minute, right? It's like you get a 15 food discount every like 15 seconds, which adds up. But actually, I think it's high if you just scale Knights, but obviously Knights is harder to justify spamming on its own. Keshiks just not giving the fight over. It's so annoying with the Yan there as well. Like, you can see there's no chance he can chase. Outpost's going to go down. Sacred Site's going to get decapped, but I feel so bad for Purple. Because once they decap that Sacred Site, they're going to discover the real win condition. Louis in Imperial Age is going to be unstoppable here. He's doubling down on just doing Keshiks. Oh my god. I would not be surprised if this French force went full World War II the moment they see it. Alright, he's not going to surrender. Okay, calm down. We've still got a game. So, White Stupor is up. Obviously, Louis is not going to fight until he's got those upgrades in. You can now see him actually getting the Step Lancer improved. Good God. And once again, he just walks by. Are you kidding me? Louis is so smart with these outposts. These outpost networks not only block any sort of sneak attack from Purple, they give him the mobility to do this. Oh my god, and he's way too quick in. 1.87 movement speed. And Jeanne, with the army out of position, you can't defend your own base now. Keshiks going to flood in. The villagers nowhere to run. This might just be the GG kill. Louis instead turns around. He's waiting for the upgrades. He's like, well, oh, calm down. I actually haven't got elite status yet. The comical part to me is Louis could have easily went to the back of the base. The upgrade would have came in, and then Jeanne wouldn't have been able to fight him. But instead, he's going to show a little bit of respect. He's backing up. Spearman count is now up to 20. This is the point where Keshiks will struggle a bit. But to make it all that much easier, we've now got biology on the way. When was the last time you saw a Mongol player rush Imperial like this? I feel like Mongol players, I mean, they get shot like fish in a barrel, right? They usually feel like they're dead by maybe 20 minutes in practically every game right now. This is impressive. I feel like Louis learning some lessons from his high view game the other day. You guys remember the Japanese versus Mongol game? Where it was mounted samurai only? How are you going to be aggressive with spears? It's actually easier than you think. It's just Jeanne D'Arc needs to discover what stone is. That's the important detail. If you just stonewall, Louis won't be able to get in. And then you can just run down the center, right? Like, that's the crazy part to me. The issue in this game from start to finish from Jeanne D'Arc has been a lack of walling. Good walling, sufficient walling. Flash coming in. Should be the defense arrow, and all of a sudden, this fight gets messy. Pull back on the knight, Spearman and engage. Dude, he's just feeding level 4 to Jeanne right now. What is this? This is insane. This is wave number 1. Wave number 2 hasn't even arrived yet. Oh my god. This feels like BM. You look at that fight, you're like, wow, that was a really good fight for Purple versus an Imperial Age opponent, until you realize there's a second wave to come. Now he's going to sandwich him! Jeanne can't even stand up against this. She's going to die way too quickly. Then arms. Spearman, anything wouldn't work. You just haven't got anything that's tanky enough. Maybe War Institute would have worked, but with it being a Guildhall build, I feel like this game is over. If Purple had been building spears from minute 1, maybe. But this ain't it.